Okay, so I'm going to do all the homework, right? Okay, because I presume it wasn't the easiest, okay? And I just did it yesterday, so I'll go over all the homework, right? Okay, so I gave you number 2 and number 6, is that right? Yeah, right, okay, so I'll start with number 2. So number 2, which of these sequences is quadratic? Okay, so you go, let's look at the first one, right, which is, right, 6, 8, 12, 6, 8, 12, 18, 26, 36. Okay, so you check out the first difference, so that's add 2, add 4, add 6, add 8, add 10. So it's definitely not arithmetic because you're not adding the same number every time. So then you do the second difference, the differences between the difference. So 2 to 4 is 2, 4 to 6 is 2, 6 to 8 is 2, and 8 to 10 is 2. So the second difference is a constant, so that is quadratic. Okay, Q for quadratic. Okay, number 2, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, dot, dot, dot. So add 2, add 2, add 2, add 2. So girls, that is arithmetic, right? So this one is arithmetic because the first difference is a constant. So they're the ones we were doing at the start of the chapter. Okay, part 3 is 3, 4, 7, 12, 19, 28. Okay, so first difference plus 1, plus 3, plus 5, plus 7, so it's not arithmetic anyway, plus 9. Okay, so differences between the differences is 2, 2, 2, and 2. So that means the second difference is a constant, so it's a quadratic. Okay, and the last part in number 2 is 0, 3, 8, 15, 24. So the first difference is we're adding 3, we're adding 5, 8 to 15 is adding 7, 15 to 24 is adding 9, and that's not arithmetic anyway. So check out the second difference, plus 2, plus 2, plus 2. So the second difference is a constant, so this one is also quadratic. Okay, is that alright for number 2? Okay, the next one is, can I work this out? Going, gone. Right, okay, so next one you had was number 6. So we had number 6, part 1 was find the nth term, find Tn. So this was the examples we were doing yesterday, right? 20, 29. So the first thing you do is you have to decide what kind of a sequence it is. So we're adding 3, we're adding 5, we're adding 7, we're adding 9, so it's not arithmetic, so that's not the one in the log tables, it's arithmetic. So then you add 2, add 2, add 2. So second difference is a constant, so that means it's a quadratic. Okay, so then you have to get the two pieces of information that are in your head. The first one is Tn for a quadratic is an squared plus bn plus c. And the second thing is 2a, so twice that number, that a there, twice that number is equal to the second difference. So the second difference is 2. So if 2a equals 2, divide each side by 2, and you'll find out a equals 1. So that means Tn is equal to, that a is a 1, you've just figured out, plus bn plus c. Okay, so you're 1/3 of the way there, because you have to find out what b is. We okay?
Do you know for the 2a?
Yes.
You just basically have the second difference.
You basically have the second difference, yes.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so we're 1/3 of the way there because we found out what A is, and now we need to continue on and find what B and C are, right? So what B and C are, how you do that is you look at term number 1. So term number 1 means n is for the position. So n is number 1, so n is 1. So every time I see an n, I'm going to put in a 1. So B times 1 plus C, and the answer is going to be whatever term number 1 is. So in this case, term number 1, the first term that in the pattern they gave me was 5. So I know when I fill in 1, I'm going to get out an answer of 5 because that's the first term. Okay, so you multiply that out, that's 1 plus B plus C equals 5. Bring over the 1, so that's B plus C equals 5 minus 1. So that means B plus C equals 4, and that's your first equation. You can't go any further with that. Okay? So you leave that for a minute and you go on to term number 2. So term number 2, n is the number of the term. So everywhere I see an n, so back up here, everywhere I see an n, I'm going to put in a 2. So that's 1 times 2 to b squared plus b times 2 plus c. Now the next bit is the bit that confuses people. Okay, so you have to go right back up to the top and see what term number 2 is. So term number 1, term number 2. So when you work all that out, the answer is 8 because that's what term number 2 is, and that's the thing they told us up at the top. So then you're multiplying out. So that's 1 times 2 to b squared is 4 plus 2b plus c equals 2. So, equals 8. Then bring over the 4, so you get 2b plus c equals 8 minus 4, and we get 2b plus c equals 4, and that's your second equation. Okay, so you have an equation here, an equation here. You're going to do simultaneous equations on those, right? Okay, so you write one under the other. Which one do you write on top? It actually doesn't matter. Okay, so I'm just going to write the second one on top, but it doesn't matter which one you write on top. And the other one was b plus c equals 4, right? You want to make the c's cancel. Okay, so is it okay if I do that? So I want to make the c's cancel. So to make the c's cancel, they're both 1c and 1c, but I need one a plus and one a minus. So I need to change the signs. So I'm going to change the signs of the second line. They cancel. 2b, take away b is b. So b equals 4, take away 4 is 0. Okay? The next one is you have to find out what c is. So you take the top equation, 2b plus c equals 4. Everywhere I see a b, I'm going to put in a 0. So it's 2 times 0 plus c equals 4. 2 times 0 is 0. 0 plus c equals 4. So that just means c is equal to 4. Then you go back up to your Tn. So at the very start you said Tn was something n squared plus a number n plus c. So you figured out that a is 1, so it's 1n squared. You figured out that b is 0, and you figured out that c is 4. Okay, you can leave it like that, or you can just write that as n squared. 0n is nothing, so you can just not write that and you have a plus 4. But you can leave it like that if you want. That's perfect. Okay? Right, so part 2, again I'm going to do it out, right? Okay, so part 2 is the exact same thing, right? Okay, so it was, here's a sequence, so it's 2, 8, 18, 32, 50. So it says find Tn, right? So you don't know what kind of a sequence it is, so you have to figure out what kind of a sequence it is first. So 2 goes to 8, that's add 6. 8 to 18 is add 10. 18 to 32 is add 14, and 32 to 50 is add 18. So it's definitely not arithmetic. Okay, so then you look at the differences between the difference, that's add 4, and add 4. So that's the second difference is a constant, so that means it's quadratic. So then you go, oh, if it's quadratic, I have to pull the information out of my head. So you go, Tn is equal to something n squared plus something n plus a number. Okay? And the second thing is twice a is the second difference. So the second difference in this case is 4. So twice a is 4. So then you divide each side by 2, and you'll find out that a is equal to 2. So you know that that number there is equal to 2. So you're 1/3 of the way there, because you've figured out what a is. Now you have to figure out what b is and what c is. Okay? So how you do that is you look at term number 1. So term number 1 means everywhere I see an n. So into this, everywhere I see an n, put a 1, because it's number 1, and n is the number of the term. So 2 times 1 squared plus b times 1 plus c. But you know what term number 1 is, because they told you what it is. It's term number 1 is 2. Okay, so that's 2 plus b plus c equals 2. Bring that 2 over, so we have b plus c equals to 2. That's here already. 2 comes over and becomes a minus 2, so that's b plus c equals 0. Okay, that's as far as I can go for the moment. Okay, with that. So I have to go back, and now I talk about term number 2. So term number 2 means into this here, everywhere I see an n, I'm going to put a 2. So it's 2 times 2 to be squared plus b times 2 plus c. Again, I know what the answer is going to be, because I know term number 2 is 8. Right? So term number 2 is 8. So you need to check up at the sequence to find out what the answer is. So multiply out, 2 times 2 to be squared is 8, plus 2b plus c equals 0. Sorry, it doesn't, it equals 8. Okay, so that's 2b plus c equals 8. Take away 8, so that means 2b plus c equals 0. There's my second equation. Okay? So, yeah, okay. So then I have my two equations, so I write one under the other, so I have 2b plus c equals 0. I have b plus c equals 0, right? Simultaneous equation, so I want to make the c's cancel. So in order to make the c's cancel, I make sure the same number is in front. It is a 1 and a 1. 1 must be a plus, 1 must be a minus, so I need to change the signs. So I'm going to change the signs of the whole second line. So the c's cancel, 2b minus b equals 0, or b, and 0 minus 0 is 0. So b turns out to be 0. So then I take the top line, and everywhere I see a b, I'm going to put in a 0. Okay, so I probably should have written down 2b plus c equals 0. Instead of that b, I'm putting in a 0. Okay, so that's 0 plus c equals 0. So that means c turns out to be 0 also. Okay, then they asked me to write down what Tn was. So at the very start, I said an squared plus bn plus c. So I figured out, the first thing I figured out was a was 2, so it's 2n squared. I just figured out that b is 0 and that c is 0. So you can just write that as 2n squared. Now you can write these if you want, you won't gain or lose marks, okay? So your answer is Tn equals 2n squared. Okay? Any questions? What's the story? Are we able to do them? Nobody's talking. Yeah? Good. Right? So we're going to stick with these for one more night. So I'm going to ask you to do page 134. Right? Okay. Question 4 is just fill in 10 for n. Question 5 is do what we've just done. And question 7 is do what we've just done. So question 4, all you have to do is get T10, so that means fill in 10 for n, right? And 5 and 7, right? Don't mind what the questions say, just find Tn, okay? Which is the 2 examples we've just done, okay? So I'm going to leave you head off and do those now, okay? And I'll stick up the video and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Any questions? Good? Right, okay.
Thanks, Miss.
You can head off, so, right, bye.